What does bet mean? I'm not even that old, and still cringe when someone says it. Kids and young adults sprinkle it into conversation, and 50 to 70% of the time, it's nonsensical. In context, it usually means alright or okay. Like, hey, I'm coming to pick you up at 6, bet. Again, nonsensical, but usually the people who speak this way are definitely immature at best. I just have a low tolerance for stupidity. LOL. Hello, Redditors of the Internet, Noble Xenon here, and the intellectuals have returned. Let's get started. So, you think this next individual made the Dean's List? This is part of the reason I try to write with the amount of effort I do. It's far easier to understand by most metrics, along with the fact that it will be harder to see inherent flaws with how I write. Some people find it annoying when people write like they would a college essay, but I don't solicit that opinion anyway. And we go over to Twitter. Someone pinned this, by the way. You disgusting worms. I can machine in 12 different languages. I have a MA in fabrication and a doctorate in CNC, and even I think that the 3D guns are good for modern kids. You're not on my level, trust me, so take a mother effing seat and leave my people alone. Okay, this one's got to be some kind of troll. Alright, so now even the ads on Reddit are being really smart. I got 132 IQ on the International IQ test. It's probably the most accurate online test. How high is your IQ? Honestly, this is pretty smart advertising. You know the pseudo-intellectuals of Reddit are gonna eat this up. This next one's read a lot of books recently. I find myself fatigued by the persistent absence of civilized conversations or discussions among people. It appears that the essence of politeness has regrettably dwindled in recent years. Many individuals I encounter who lean towards the right or the left side of the political spectrum have grown increasingly paranoid and disconnected from the reality of global events. Occupations of great nobility, such as doctors, academics, researchers, and teachers, are continuously subjected to unwarranted criticism and disrespect. Oh, it is disheartening to witness the erosion of the reverence once accorded to these professionals. Somehow, people now believe that they possess superior knowledge compared to those who have dedicated years to studying their respective fields. Furthermore, there exists a substantial predicament wherein individuals mistakenly attribute the opinions of one person from a particular group to the entire group itself. I've been reading a lot of books lately. You kinda have a point, but it sounds like you wrote this to show off your vocabulary. Maybe leave off the last bit next time. And now for this next one, a guy I was dealing with who works at a pizza shop could switch between Wolof, French, Spanish, and English seamlessly. I was jealous. I don't want to come off as contemptful, but that's not particularly impressive. I'm 23 and I'm getting there while studying higher education instead. I mean, switching between 4 different languages seamlessly is actually pretty impressive. I don't know why these intellectuals think they're so superior. Cryoxic says, love it when people associate higher education with intelligence, speaking as someone who got his degree in STEM and still dumb. Can confirm, have masters, am dumbass. You see, the difference is you don't go bragging about your masters or your intelligence. They do. Ladies and gentlemen, I humbly present to you this guy, with mathematical equations in the background and F Pride as their profile picture. I do not read replies to my comments. I know I'm always right, so why waste my time reading the opinions of you morons? Hope you wasted a lot of time replying to my post. I'll never read it, laughing emojis. Sounds like you're the only one wasting time trolling people online. And now a response to a post looking for a specific word. Super helpful there. Ha, I'm sorry that you have so many shockingly plebeian guesses in the comments. Disheartening, I imagine. I think I grasp the idea that you were trying to capture, which is having such mastery of your craft that you can produce exactly the desired result in such an efficient and direct way it almost appears magical, such as someone who can analyze a scrambled Rubik's Cube for a few seconds, then swiftly return it to the starting position in a dozen decisive moves. The way I think this appears is that you have incorporated the problem space within your psyche, achieving a kind of synthesis from where you can envision any desired task in a holistic way, the solution being immediately obvious. But I can't go further than that to name the idea or construct that you were pursuing. 25 downvotes. You could have saved us a bunch of time and just said, I don't know. Seriously, I'm very smart individuals. It's okay to say I don't know. And now, can you believe the audacity of this guy showing his work? Had to whip it up real quick. And there it is. Looks like it has a rather nice answer. But of course, the intellectual replies. Did he use paper to solve this? Lol, this was solvable in the mind. Laughing emojis. And now, not just a genius, but a model as well? Wow. I was talking at 18 months at a 3-year-old level. I was very dramatic and had no chill whatsoever. I was actually offered a modeling position, but my mother wisely said no. I was diagnosed as a genius at 3, and at 5 years old tested into the 2nd grade. However, it was decided that it would be best for my social development to stay in 1st grade. Yeah, right. I still don't really interact well with people, but I'm great with animals, and I have 2 college degrees at 18 years old. Oh yes, I'm so sure you do. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? My situation was, I was 3 and I was frantic when I ran inside and was crying and said, Mama, I urinated all over myself. And my mom said, it's okay, baby. They don't know what you said. Let's just get you cleaned up and then you can go back outside. To the people who insist these things never happen, there's a lot of words to say you're jealous of how much more advanced we are than your kids. I'm a diagnosed genius, by the way. At 18 months old, I acted 3. So yes, these things do happen. You see, at 3 years old, I pissed myself in a much more intellectual way than the average child. And now we have an individual who can somehow see in extra dimensions. Whoa! I can visualize objects in 4 spatial dimensions, but it takes an incredible amount of effort and a good hour of preparatory analysis. It's a skill I've been working on here and there since I was about 16, and it took most of the intervening time to figure it out. I basically find clever ways to compress, from a working memory standpoint, the 4-dimensional object in question, so I can keep all the parameters in mind simultaneously. My method involves using time as a substitute for a spatial dimension, but after some very difficult to verbalize cognition, I can translate that into a, well, properly spatial dimension. Once that's done, I can look at it without having to play it back, without it being temporal, basically. Shrugs. I'm limited to relatively simple things which can be nicely defined from a mathematical standpoint. Anything more complex, more data heavy is too much for my working memory, because remember, an intellectual must know the limitations of their mind. Topologies tend to be easier than geometries. I wish I had a better explanation than that. I've done some experiments with Klein bottles and verified that a topology as rendered in my head corresponds to the expected topology, i.e., at least for the purposes of basic topologies, I can visualize object embedded in R4. At any rate, simply having more eyes wouldn't help. And Pork Fat Willie says everyone who uses Reddit regularly can do this, by the way. To us high IQ Redditors, of course, of course. Someone help me, please. What is -6 squared? Is it
-12, -36, 12i, or just 12?
Oh, the fact that there's so many people that don't know a negative and a negative make a positive is absolutely mind-blowing. It's 36, basic math. A lot of people liked it, but a fair few gave it a laughing reaction. And this next one thinks he's smarter but can't even type. You girls wanted the equal opportunities and obligations. Understand the offer to help can be resented. Your vibes is an answer we don't have to tolerate with 2 L's. Your soul character accountabilities is a respectable answer. Soul actions is either attraction or that value of a cat's hairball and kitty litter so done with female clown emoji. I once valued females, and when they told me learn my worth and I measured theirs to how much they are hands-on life situations. As me, beside me, and what test score that is school education-wise, every kid you made and don't have that man as a grade level held back. Some of you don't even rank daycare. Lol. What? I do not understand a single thing that is going on here. Let's move on to this next post. Vision not too good though. Those are words right there. Here's an educational meme I made. Hard to swallow pills. The average car does 17,000 times more damage than a cyclist, hence the minimal registration fees. Cyclists are safer riding on the street, and bike lanes help make roads more safe for all. And of course, the intellectual replies, I have an IQ of 154, so use your words, thank you. The meme had words, so what, you want an essay? One person laughed at this, because you probably used some kind of online IQ test for that. And now for this next one, such enlightenment, wow! She, her pronouns, smarter than you in every way, an expert in advanced physics and multiple languages, the light in the darkness of ignorance that is this website. You can try to debate me, but I always win. Ah yes, an individual who thinks debates are only about winning. And now this next one is asking if he would have made it into Mensa as a kid. I, independently of anyone's influence, discovered the fundamental theorem of calculus when I was in 3rd grade, though didn't really understand its full magnitude. Shortly after, I had also independently discovered algebra in 2nd grade. If my parents had let me skip grades and didn't prioritize socialization, I would have skipped at least 4. I took an IQ test after I got a concussion that seriously affected my processing speed and still got 130. And only 6 people voted yes, by the way, while 19 voted no. Perhaps you're not as much of an intellectual as you think you are. And now lots of words for kind of a trivial message. For those who have knowledge and deep understanding, this is not just art and some cool thing, this is a message, curated with great care for an audience targeted, and even those rewatching it. For those who know what is going on, this is utterly disturbing. Clearly the message is received and visible, and it is not art, it is a message. As a message for those who submit to it, I worry. As a message for those who believe it is real. For those who are out of touch with reality, I am sorry for you. As someone with 28 years researching knowledge, I worry for all humans. What kind of knowledge? Don't worry about that, just knowledge. Not only a minority has sold their soul, but aiming to make everyone accept to sell it is the objective. Making such work to seem just art is far from the truth. This art is loaded with messages, and no, it does not scare me or anyone sane enough, but it clearly tells where some humans stand. We must do everything we can to make sure this art receive a response as well. You are sold. It's a conspiracy. It's propaganda! Or the simple fact that yes, art can convey messages. And now have a seat and listen to me explain every single philosophical thought clanging around in my head. I mean, what's on my mind right now? Well, everything. Please take a seat. From the ambassadors of initiates, apparently. And now this next person thinks becoming a lawyer is easy. It's honestly not hard to become a lawyer. Basically every education that doesn't involve abstract mathematics is easy to complete. And Babe66 says you don't have to go to law school to take the California bar exam. Have at it. And Mr. Accurite says cousin of mine, a lawyer, said he has a running bet that he could teach someone everything they need to know to pass the bar in just a few weeks. I'd say he's full of shit, but he would be the one to know. I bet this intellectual would be like, I can pass it right now. Don't even need to study or prepare. And now we have someone who's way smarter than average. There are entirely too many Scots replying to this thread, but back to the original issue and answer, wrong. Doing it the opposite way just cost me all the work I'd done in edit, wiped it clean. This is why I friggin' hate digital. The dialog box when you connect says, do you want to transfer current settings? The choices are console to PC or PC to console. Well, I wanted to transfer the settings from the PC to the console, so I originally clicked PC to console. That did nothing. Based on the advice above, I tried the other way and now I've lost everything. I thought I'd saved it as a preset, but it seems that preset only saved one channel of info and not everything I had done. I had gone to library, saved preset, I named it and saved it, but it turns out that was the only way for the selected channel. Every single piece of computer software I've used in the last 15 years is completely unintuitive and mostly idiotic. Written by geeks for geeks with no comprehension about how normal people think and expect things to work. Having to click start to shut down a computer wraps up the entire culture in a nice little bow. And Edit doesn't even have help files. Most programs have help files, even if they're of dubious help. It's trial and error or take a 3-credit college course to figure out how any of this stupid shit works. And before you think to yourself that I'm one who's not too bright, I have high school and college transcripts to show you that I'm pretty friggin' smart. Way smarter than average, as in the top few % on every standardized test I've ever taken. But because I have a real life instead of playing video games, I have to suffer with all this digital BS. End of friggin' rant for now. I must say, this person really has trouble with technology. I understand why you'd get frustrated after losing all your files, but was that last bit really necessary? And now, just another day in the Steam forums. An intelligent person would have inferred that a precipitous drop in player count within the span of an hour means that there's an upcoming maintenance. So you measure the intelligence of others with the amount of knowledge they have about when updates or maintenance is? That sounds really smart. I mean, yes, that would be an adequate way to measure one's intelligence. You're making a blanket headline statement without doing any kind of research to back up your claims. It shows a lazy and unintellectual brain. Don't be sad that you're of a lesser intelligence. Take this opportunity to improve yourself and read some books. If you're capable of reading at an adequate level, that is. What is there even to research here? Imagine talking about intelligence and the first thing you do is encroaching speaking for someone else that's saying enough about you. Smiley face. But yes, to explain to you now where I looked and so on would cost me too much time, and you are not worth it to me because you've already shown your nature anyway and why you are really here in the forum. Basic reasoning skills is hard for folks with double-digit IQ, it seems. My condolences. Ah yes, the pseudo-intellectual gamer. Now we move over to Twitter world. I have ridden gigantic test scores to riches and happiness. It can still be done, but you have to be genuinely smart and work hard to pick the right opportunities. You know, you don't need gigantic test scores for that. And Do Platypus says he's ridden his own delusions to isolation and loneliness, now spews random nonsense on the internet. Yep, and still believes they're the smartest person in the room. And now I made the massive mistake of commenting that a bit of lore from a video game that was being discussed was only a theory. A game theory! Quite literally, actually. A theory is the highest status to which any idea can rise, as it means the best available explanation for a given phenomena. Your attempt to make me sound stupid is ill-fraught with error. To admit that this is a theory with myriad supporting elements undercuts your point entirely. I apologize to your frail sensibilities if I've made you feel like I think I'm smarter than you, despite the fact that there is a 96% chance you are, due to the percentile in which my IQ falls. I don't like to get into de-measuring contests about intelligence, but I am built different, as they say. I graduated my undergrad with magna cum laude honors and was a single hundredth of a grade point from being a salutatorian. I have spent hundreds of grueling hours in higher education from graduate to postgraduate. I am currently straining every ounce of my intellectual might into obtaining a PhD. I've earned the right to utilize this diction, and your tone policing won't stop me. I don't check replies on this throwaway, though, so don't even bother. This is gold. Please send another. Another? You didn't read what I told you. I said I will not reply on such an account. And for this final intellectual, you really just need to read the first sentence and you'll get the gist. People can't complain about the troubles of being intelligent either. I never asked to be profoundly gifted, but I am, and it means I'm constantly surrounded by people who are approximately 2/3 of my IQ levels. And yes, I know IQ is not a great measure of my intelligence, but it's convenient shorthand to get my point across. I don't ever feel particularly smart. In my mind, I feel like I'm the normal one, because my life is the only one I've experienced, and I'm surrounded by people with whom I can't ever go faster than a walk or I completely lose them. I'm constantly expending more time and effort than I should, dumbing myself down to be able to communicate with everyone else, and there are times I really resent that or just don't have the mental energy to sugarcoat things. There's a reason the abrasive smart guy is such a pervasive stereotype. You know that time and effort you were talking about, yeah, it does take effort to simplify complex topics in a way other people can understand, because not everyone can be an expert at everything. So yeah, intellectuals. So, I'd like to thank all of my channel members, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Cranjus McBiscupole, Dark Garden, Catalan Cormendi, Mike Hawk, Hold Up, Nightcrawler, Stormcloud the Wolf, VicMeister1999, and Zoe Horsham. You can join in the link below, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell, and comment what's on your mind.